Today's the day. New PC is getting built right here, right now. It's my first build. I've replaced parts in several machines before, but this is my first full build. First time I'll be messing with a motherboard or CPU, but we're going all in today. Everything's getting a fresh start. I know somewhat of what I'm doing, but this isn't much of a tutorial. This is just me doing it. I think Woody wants to come say hello. I can hear him at the bottom of the stairs whining.
Oh, good boy. Good boy. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Interesting. Are you going to help me build my PC today? No.
What's that?
Oh, okay. Doggy inspection complete. So I think the first job is to unpack the PC case and get that laid out on the desk. And we'll go from there. I thought you'd be wanting to see less of me and more PC, so we're going to roll at this angle. The desk probably works, but foolproof way. Make sure I'm grounded into the mains. This does mean setting up my power supply. We have the ROG Republic of Gamers 850 / I suppose Asus ROG, same thing. Outside, that's what's going to slot into the bottom of the machine for our power supply. We've got a fan on the bottom, I suppose. I suppose it'll probably go that way up into the machine. So the fan's blowing out the bottom of the case. Inside, all these pins are what's going to power everything along the inside. So I can plonk this down over here, back. See, that doesn't need to be powered on. This plug needs to be powered on, but I don't need to turn the power supply on. Simply that should clear my static. It is connected to the grounds through all the cabling. So before I touch anything, I touch that first. Clear all my static. Don't move my feet. All good. To start, we're going to lay out the motherboard. What have we got here? Oh yeah, okay, right. So, I ordered the X570 Plus, no Wi-Fi, but I received the one with the Wi-Fi. I assume that's what this is a standing antenna to have a wireless connection. Not interested. I'm absolutely going to be on Ethernet. This means nothing to me. That can go to one side. So we can work on top of here. Static. I suppose we jump straight in with the CPU. Let's get that handy. My Ryzen 9. Yeah, that's right. So I believe the AM4 chips have pins on the CPU. So yeah, I can see I've got sockets on the motherboard. The pins to drop into. Let's very carefully extract our motherboard. Wow, look at that. Technology. Wow. So our CPU is going to drop in here, and I should have pins that will fit straight into there. Static. Well, I'm going to lift the lever. Get into our CPU bay. And there it is. Do not want to touch the other side of this CPU. Have a look on here. Probably can't see on there. But there is one corner that is a different shape to the rest. That should show me what way around it's going to go. But there's a little white, very tiny white arrow in that corner to show me what corner this goes into. That means it's supposed to go in that corner because there's a little hollowed out arrow in that corner as well. Pins are on the CPU and the sockets are on that side. It should just fall into place without any pressure. Static. 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 A little corner on that side where it's squared out, which matches what it looks like on there. Yeah, that's right. So I think pulling the lever up slightly pushes the CPU out on that side. It just pulls the CPU out. So the sockets at the front hadn't quite gone all the way in. It looked a little bit raised, but as soon as you wiggle that, it's popped them all into place. So that should be able to lock in now. I believe I can stick the RAM in next. Okay, so tackling RAM, I want to know which slots he wants me to use. So as you can see on here, you've got grey, black, grey, black. So what that tells me is if you got 2 sticks of RAM running in tandem, they want to be on alternating slots. They don't want to be next to each other. They want to have a gap in between them. Okay, so I've consulted the internet, and everyone agrees that the manual is not very clear. Well, basically, what it means is the starred ones on the board are the primary recommended slots. Let's just pop them straight in. Let's flick those out. So nice and easy with RAM. It's lopsided. There's a gap that isn't very central, so I can just see exactly where it wants to go. I don't like doing this on top of a box. It doesn't feel good. I almost want to get underneath my motherboard so that I may push. So I've had to push a lot harder than that before. That wasn't as bad as I expected. I've had some motherboards need a real shove to get RAM in. The main thing is just trying to make sure that they go down equally. I think sometimes the hard part is just getting them to go down level. This little fella is an M2 drive. Once you slot the M2 drive in to its socket there, this little ridge would line up where the screw goes and it would lock into place. Static. Going there. Screw that ready. Static. Push that into place. Nice little clip noise. And input our screw. We're in. Okay, now to prep our cooling system. Now, conveniently, in the box, they come labelled as separate packets of all the different pieces depending on what CPU you're using. What I need to do, I have 2 of these. I need to replace the brackets here, I believe. I'm taking these out. It's just plastic, need to come out, and these are going to take their place. My camera's running out of battery, that is. Gonna finish getting the motherboard in, and I think I'll hopefully have some battery left to continue after that. So these are my bits with the power supply. These are my bits that came with the case. So I had my motherboard in position on my case. I now need to mount it and screw it in place. I have a bunch of cables with the case already wired in, mostly the general power USB kind of cables. So I can feed those from the back through little tidying slots that come with the case and plug them into the board. Okay, so I think I'm going to have way more fans than I need in this thing. I've got 3 that come with a rig in the front and 1's already in the back. Fairly standard fan setup, but I've got this whole liquid cooling with another 3 fans in. Those can fit up here. To get that, it looks like I've got to pull what a faff! And then same again to the top of this top section where the fans are going to sit with the radiator connecting in underneath. Usually on the fans they come with a little arrow to tell you which way the airflow is going. These do not have such arrow. Aha! So, I've spotted I've got 4 mounting screws. I can simply detach this top panel and get them sorted separately. Ah, lovely. Cool. So this is where my water cooling goes. It's completely blocked off there, so any RGB lights that I may put on the top of the radiator, you're not going to see them. The bracket's completely solid. So that if you want to see those light up fans, they need to be on the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. These fans are going to mount on the bottom. So we're going to be in the case this way, and that's going to fit on just like that. Very carefully lower this into place. Yikes. So this wanted quite a bit of force to take off, so let's cool, nice. My spacers are ready. This is where my cooler is going to be connected. Okay, that comes straight off apparently. Thanks for that. So this is the LCD screen that comes with my cooler. Do we have any film on there? No, so sometimes there's a plastic film that comes on these, but I think this came in a case. These were replaced early, so these came with Intel frames on it. I've had to replace it with our AMD frames to fit my AMD card. A splodge of thermal paste. So, oh shit. I guess we're going for it then. I don't need thermal paste. That is thermal paste on it. So, I think we're starting to get there. I've got a little microfiber cloth for me to wipe off any imperfections. I think that's about okay for me to start getting everything plugged in. I can worry, the graphics card will just go in at the end. I've replaced the graphics card before on its own. I think it's probably fine to be the last part to go in. Power supply goes on the back. We have this panel to take off. Power supply. So of course, bit with the switch and the plug wants to be on the outside. It's got to be that way. I'll get this plugged in before I do that. Because that's going to be really awkward to reach when that's plugged in. So two doubles, two of these. I need to feed through ready for my graphics card. Let's get them straight in there, bang them in there. And I'll plug in my CPU as well. Because these fans are already plugged in. Those fans are now plugged into the hub. Hard drives are in, RAM's in, CPU's on. Power supply is on, everything's, so CPU's plugged in, motherboard's plugged in, fans are plugged in, the case is plugged in. Well, let's get the graphics card in, and then, yeah, I might actually have to look at tidying some cables up. So that's going to be sitting in right there. It looks like this case might make it a bit easier to move cards around. It's not booting, but we have RGBs and fans moving on the water cooling, so those are on. LCD screen, so the peripherals power is working. The graphics card, I don't know if you can quite see, but the fans are going. So we have fans on the graphics card, no case fans. So no case fans. The LEDs on the RAM are not on. And also, so over here, we have, am I looking in the right place? A little bit up. there's 4 LEDs. These should light up with troubleshooting. They're not lighting up at all. So I can't tell if the motherboard is actually on or not. I'm going to double check all of my seats again, make sure everything's in. That's in. That's in. And stick the RAM back in. Let's go with this one. I'll just do one for now. Stick it in the slot furthest away from my CPU. I mean, I guess I could just power on and see if that RAM stick lights up without the monitor. Maybe I'll hear a beep test. Yeah, I'll just give it a quick power up. Power supply on. Power button. Aha! Everything's on. We've actually got RGB on the graphics card now, rather than just the fans. It's not just wearing into place. Case fans are on. RAM stick's on. I think we're there. So, I think my first guess was correct, that the motherboard wasn't working. One thing to check, if anyone happens to be doing this with the same keyboard as me. The back of my keyboard, there's a few settings. Usually I leave it like this, on 1. I don't really know what it means, but there is also a BIOS version. So the K70 won't work in the BIOS unless it's on BIOS mode. Because I have been into the BIOS once and sat there like, why won't my keyboard work? We have BIOS. We're in. I can sit down. I've got another stick of RAM to plod in. See that? That's why you cycle the power. Got a spark of power there with the power supply off. I'm not completely set up my desk yet. I've just done my new monitor mount. That's set up ready. I've downloaded the Windows installation files into a USB in the back of the computer here. I'm just going to turn it on and hopefully it'll start installing Windows. We have Windows installing!